Hey everybody, pick up on Proverbs 22, 23. A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. Good name, valued name, ethics, morals, so on and so forth. Good person, better than great riches. Better is more esteemed than silver and gold. Silver and gold, those things pass away. Your name can last forever. Rich and poor have this in common: the Lord is the maker of them all. Very true. The prudent see danger and take refuge. The simple keep going and pay the penalty. Exactly. You're not paying attention. Humility is the fear of the Lord. And that's a fear of respect, fear of love, fear, not a fear of trembling and fear. Although if you're going against God, then you better be trembling. Humility, humble in all things. Its wages are riches and honor and life. I think Jesus, again, I've mentioned this, it was humble, humility in human form, from beginning to end. Conceived humility to a poor family, to a woman who knew she was going to take all kinds of abuse, being a virgin, nobody believed her, they ostracized her, to carrying it in the poverty, and then being born in poverty, being rejected, injected places to be born, to go to a manger or a grotto, whichever you adhere to, version. Not lauded upon, except very quietly, humbly. Lived a humble life, simple life. Learned humbly. Lived humbly, taught humbly. Wherever he was received, one setting a pair of clothing, one robe, one clothing, one undergarments, one or sandals, walked everywhere, except when he rode a donkey or colt into Jerusalem, and that's what he wanted. And being humble, look at it as an ass, humbled himself in his teaching. People came to him, humbled himself to others by dining with sinners. Humbled himself before the Romans, before the Sanhedrin. Suffered in humility, died in humility. Rose again, very quietly, only saw by precious few. Appeared again to them, precious few. Ascended, all humility. Humility, humility, humility. The paths of the wicked are snares and pitfalls, but those who would preserve their life stay far from them. Good lesson to adhere to. Start children off in the way they should go. Even when they are old, they will not turn from it. Again, they should build that foundation and help set them on the. God created the path. Parents have to be good parents, build that foundation of faith, and keep them headed in the right direction as long as they can. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. That's the reality of mankind, which is wrong. The rich do rule over the poor, but it gets them nowhere. The borrower is slave to the lender. You don't own your house unless you got the deed. You don't own the car unless you got the deed, unless you got the ownership papers, title. You don't own your land unless you got the deed. Then you're paying property taxes to who? You stop paying property taxes, the government comes in and takes your land. You take the house, load it up and move it. The land belongs to them. So don't fool yourself. Whoever sows injustice reaps calamity upon themselves. Or payback. The rod they wield in fury will be broken. Seems like they get somewhere, but they'll get nowhere. You see this in Russia. You see this all darkness going on. They think they're better. They think they can win. They think they can defeat us. Ain't gonna happen. Trust in God. The generous will themselves be blessed, for they share their food with the poor. God holds charity above all else. Drive out the mocker, and out goes strife. Quarrels and insults are ended. They instigate. One who loves a pure heart and who speaks with grace will have the King for a friend. That's God, Jesus Christ. The eyes of the Lord keep watch over knowledge, but he frustrates the words of the unfaithful. Very true. The sluggard, the lazy person, says, "There's a lion outside. I'll be killed in the public square." Not if you trust in God, God will defeat all darkness. The mouth of an adulterous woman is a deep pit. Man or adulterous man. A man who is under the Lord's wrath falls into it, or a woman. Anybody who's adulterous, not necessarily adulterous as far as marriage, sex goes, but adulterous is an adulterous personality. It's like a deep pit that draws people in. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of discipline will drive it far away. Not necessarily a rod. Discipline, you have to have discipline. It's natural for a child to have folly, to go off, do foolish things. That's why parenting is so crucial, and you have to have discipline. It's in the form of guidance. One who oppresses the poor to increase his wealth, and one who gives gift to the rich, both come to poverty. One who oppresses the poor to increase his wealth ends up nowhere in the end. One who gives gifts to the rich is wasting. It's wasting thing. It's folly. That's folly. Both come to poverty. You're giving gifts to the church. Church is wealthy. Catholic Church is the wealthiest, richest entity on the face of the earth. Why giving money to it? Oh, you give money to God? No. Give money to a poor person on the corner. Help somebody in need. That's giving to God. Pay attention and turn your ear to the sayings of the wise. Apply your heart to what I teach. God teaches. That's what you should be focused on. What is pleasing when you keep them in your heart and have all of them ready on your lips. That pleases God. So that your trust may be in the Lord. I teach you today, even you, everybody. Have I not written 30 sayings for you, sayings of counsel and knowledge, teaching you to be honest and to speak the truth, so that you bring back truthful report to those you serve? Does he not teach you? Teach us all that we need to know? Do we turn around and teach it to our loved ones, to our children? Do not exploit the poor because they are poor. Do not crush the needy in court. The Lord will take up their case and will exact life for life. He exacts punishment. You can't pass it. You can't get away from it. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered, or you may learn their ways and get yourself ensnared. That's so true. When you hang around people like that, especially when you're impressionable in youth, so become like them. Pick up the bad habits. Look at somebody who's abusive, who was abused. Do not be one who shakes hands and pledge or puts up security for debts. If you lack the means to pay, your very bed will be snatched from under you. So don't do that if you don't have anything to back it up. Do not move an ancient boundary stone set up by your ancestors. So in other words, adhere to teachings of the past. All that was given to us, all the boundaries and the rules and the laws of God in the past, adhere to that, respect that. You see someone skilled in their work, they will serve before kings, but they will not serve before officials of low rank. See that? Look at those who serve the wealthy. They have businesses that serve the wealthy. They're not doing anything for themselves. Proverbs 23, when you sit to dine with a ruler, note well what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are given to gluttony. Do not crave his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. Do not be drawn in, but the wealthy do for you. With the rulers and those in positions of power and authority, what they're feeding you lies, feeding you deception, feeding you poison. Do not wear yourself out to get rich. Do not trust your own cleverness. Cast but a glance at riches, and they are gone, for they will surely sprout wings and fly off to the sky like an eagle. You'll be forgotten, all be taken from you. You ain't going anywhere with it. Do not eat the food of a begrudging host. Do not crave his delicacies. No, don't envy. For he is the kind of person who is always thinking about the cost. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. You will vomit up the little you have eaten and will have wasted your compliments. Do not speak to fools, for they will scorn your prudent words. They won't listen. See that all the time with sharing God's word. People don't hear it. Do not move an ancient boundary stone or encroach on the fields of the fatherless, for their defender is strong. He will take up their case against you. That's trespass against neighbor. Apply your heart to instruction and your ears the words of knowledge. God. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you punish them with a rod, they will not die. Punish them with a rod and save them from death. Again, the beyond silly, the rod, a rod. If you have to spank, you have to spank. But the rod means rod of discipline. You be firm in your discipline, be rigid in your discipline. Not so rigid, but consistent in your discipline. Be progressive in your discipline. And it shouldn't need to go further than simple discipline through word. You have to have discipline. My son, if your heart is wise, then my heart will be glad indeed. My inmost being will rejoice when your lips speak what is right. Gladdens God, makes him happy when he sees that we are wise, we've heard and listened and learned from him, and we share that and act that and speak that. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but always be zealous for the fear of the Lord. There is surely a future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off. Listen, my son, and be wise, and set your heart on the right path. Do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat, for drunkards and gluttons become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags. End up on the street, addicted to drugs, addicted to booze, addicted to gambling, addicted to sex, addicted to what else is there? Anything, wealth, fame, fortune, power. I'm drunk with it. Listen to your father, who gave you life. Do not despise your mother when she is old. Honor thy father and thy mother. Another commandment here. Buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. That's what you should be focused on. That's what you should spend your wealth of time on. The father of a righteous child has great joy. A man who fathers a wise son rejoices in him. May your father and mother rejoice. May she who gave you birth be joyful. That's what we want. That's what you should want for your children. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes delight in my ways. For an adulterous person is a deep pit, and a wayward wife or a person is a narrow well. Very shallow, dried up. Like a bandit, she lies in wait and multiplies the unfaithful among men. So hang with those type of people. You become those type of people. You'll let somebody drag you down, drag you away from God. The darkness will use that. Into people close to you. They can't get to you from a distance. Oh, who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has strife? Who has complaints? Who has needless bruises? Who has bloodshot eyes? Those who linger over wine, who go to sample bowls of mixed wine. Do not gaze at wine when it is red, when it sparkles in the cup, when it goes down smoothly. In the end, it bites like a snake and poisons like a viper. Your eyes will see strange sights, and your mind will imagine confusing things. You'll be like one sleeping on the high seas, lying on top of the rigging. They hit me, you will say, but I'm not hurt. They beat me, but I don't feel it. When will I wake up so I can have another drink? Again, it speaks to addiction, to that way of life. This is a downward spiral, folks. Word of the Lord. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. The thing I wanted to mention, reading the Bible early this morning, reflection. People have this misunderstanding. People believe in something because you see things backwards. And it's one thing you have to make clear, understand clearly. Faith is born of belief. In other words, belief begets faith, not the other way around. Belief is not born of faith. Faith is born of belief. People always have their faith, but they don't really believe. Faith can continue to grow. But if you're not getting the belief, it will not become belief, because faith does not give birth, or faith does not give birth to belief. It's the other way around. You have to believe something first. Then God will send you the proof, confirm it, and help your faith to grow. You're just saying you have faith in that, but you don't really believe. It's backwards. So you have to believe in something. Look at people I share things with and tell them, hey, you'll believe this, believe it. And you'll start to witness it and grow and experience things. Oh, they want to have that tangible proof, or they have that belief. It doesn't work that way. Believe it, and you don't see it. What is faith? Belief in what is unseen, unheard. Right. The belief. So you believe in it. that faith will grow. So faith is born of belief, not belief born of faith. Here's the flow chart. I don't know, probably backwards, everybody. Knowledge or knowing is knowing. This is the gift of knowing. It's just absolute certainty. I don't believe in God. I don't have faith. I mean, I believe in God and I have faith in God, but I'm above that. I have knowing, knowledge of God, absolute certainty of God. Because of that, He's strengthened my belief and my faith and moved all else. So we have knowledge, we get belief. The belief is born of knowledge. Faith is born of belief, as I said. It's like a family tree where you have knowledge at the top, knowing, know God, knowing of God, certainty of God. That begets the belief. And from belief is born faith, begets faith. With his siblings, hope, love. The most important sibling, charity. What did Jesus say? Faith, hope, and love, and the most important, and charity. The most important of these, as Paul said, the most important of these is charity. God holds above all else of those siblings, of those children, of those born from faith. Then in the flow chart now, the tree, beneath faith is doubt. You don't want to be here. Because in the doubt begets, this is not a beget, it takes not beget doubt. This is what's below this. Cutting off line. Doubt. Doubt begets unbelief, opens you up to darkness. Doubt begets unbelief, and then that begets being lost. So, very important. Believe. Then he'll help your faith to grow. He'll give you proof, and you'll experience things. You'll feel it. Then you will experience it physically on a physical level. You have to believe. You have to know for certainty. So you're building from the top down, not from the bottom up. So, hope that helps you. Word of mouth, flowing, constant communication. You got to be dialed into the right frequency. You have to believe first. Know for certain. Know what he said. What we're told. Believe in God with every ounce of your being, every ounce of your soul, your heart, your mind, your body, everything. Know it. Believe it. Know it. Then build the faith upon that. From that will beget your hope, your love, and your charity. Peace of Christ. God bless.